The founder of Toastmasters International, Dr. Ralph Smedley, once said, let us share the benefits we have gained for ourselves with others. What a great statement that is. What good would it do for us to gain all this valuable knowledge in Toastmasters if we weren't able to share that with everyone else? We are all here to become better communicators and better leaders. And a part of that is by teaching others to do the same. Fellow Toastmasters, our honored guests, today I'm going to be teaching you all, giving you tips on how to get new members for the club. So our guests are going to get a little behind-the-scenes look at what it is that we do and why guests are so important to the club. So I'm going to break the speech up into 4 sections. The 4 main topics are going to be why new members are so important to our club. The second is understanding who our target market is. The third, how to reach the target market. And last is, what do we do once a guest shows up? So first we're going to cover why guests are so important. You're going to see the first one is it creates a better meeting. When I first joined Toastmasters about 5 years ago, actually it's before that, when I first came, my very first meeting, it was back in this room over here. It was 1 table, as Roz remembers. I believe there was 4 people in the room that day. I ended up joining regardless. I felt welcome, felt like a family. It's like, I need to do this. I needed to become a better speaker. I was greatly afraid of that. So I ended up joining, but the thing was, there were so few people in that club that you had to take on 2 or 3 different roles every single meeting. And it was really kind of chaotic, especially when you were a new member. Trying to do all these things at the same time, remember you're brand new to it. So having more members just creates a better club, a better atmosphere. You get brand new ideas, fresh ideas from each new member that comes in. There's a larger potential pool for leadership in the group. And these leaders can end up being board members and just really help the club grow stronger. The meetings are much more fun. They really are. If you have 4 people in a room, it's not a whole lot of excitement going on. Look at the room we got today. Really grown. More funds for the club. This is a nonprofit organization, but we use the membership dues to help the club grow stronger, which just goes back into helping each member of the club. And also a higher status of the club. There's different awards that each club can reach. And we've reached a few years in a row. It's President's Distinguished, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the highest rank that you can possibly get in Toastmasters. So we've reached that multiple times. When people see that, they want to be a part of the top ranking clubs. So it's great to know that we are that high ranked. So rather than just jumping right into how to find members, I think it's important that we back up, take a few steps back and think about, who are we really looking for? What is our target market? What type of people would really be interested in becoming a member of Toastmasters? So what better way to do that than to take a look at who is already a member of Toastmasters International? So we're going to start by taking a look at some of the demographics of Toastmasters. We're going to start with gender. You're going to see up here that the majority of Toastmasters are actually female, 52%. 47 are male. And it's pretty close to half and half. The age demographics. The largest percentage of age range of Toastmasters are 45 to 55 years old. So it makes up almost about 25%. Then you're going to see the other 3, there's 3 others that are about equal, about 20%. So 25 to 34-year-olds, 35 to 44, and 55 to 64, about 20% each. each on all of those. As far as the education goes, Toastmasters are, in general, very educated. You're going to see up here that 39% have their bachelor's degree, 28% have their master's, 13 have some college, 5.6 have associate's degree. Look at the bottom here. Over 80% have at least an associate's degree, and 95.7% have at least attended college. I never knew. What kind of position are these people in? 44% are specialists for their job. 22% are managers, which I thought that would be higher. Only 11% are sole proprietors. 9% assistants, and 8% are in senior leadership positions.
Should be higher.
As far as the employment goes, 68% work for a company. They are employed by a company. Only 14% are self-employed. 8% retired, 3% students, and 2.5% are unemployed. As far as the industry that Toastmasters are coming from, the number one industry is information and communication. 13% finance and insurance. And then lastly, the other 12% professional, scientific, and technical services. So now that we've really covered the demographics, what people are joining, what type of people are joining Toastmasters. Now let's talk about how we need to reach these people. You know what? Hold on one second. All right, so how to reach the target market. The easiest thing to do is to start with your warm market, the people that you already know, your friends, your family, coworkers, right? You want to talk up Toastmasters. Tell them about how important it is, how much it's helping you, it's helping others, and what it can do for them. You want to talk to companies that are local here in Vista, right? There's many companies that are very Toastmaster, pro Toastmaster, right? They know that it's really going to help their employees, which is going to in turn help the company, right? So you can go to certain companies and have them make an announcement, let them know how much it's going to help their employees out. You can wear a Toastmaster pin, you know. And I think Roz and Jan have done it before, but people will ask you. You go out enough with a pin on there. Wait, what is that pin? And then that gives you, your opening there to talk about Toastmasters. You can pass out flyers. I know a lot of people put out flyers. They put out brochures, business cards, that kind of thing. You can put them in Starbucks, anywhere that has a bulletin board. You can, laundromats. You can even go to certain businesses that a lot of people are coming to the front counter. Put a little display, little flyers on there. You can have a speechcraft workshop, which that's something that we're going to be having shortly. And so the guests know, it's basically a workshop for new potential members or guests, so that they can start practicing some speeches and then get feedback and really get a feel of what Toastmasters is about, get the help that they need to get going. Social networking. I know Tom and Laura doing phenomenal things with the social networking. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, these types of websites. Social networking is huge today. So if any of you have questions in regards to that, speak to one of them. They can help you understand how to utilize that to help grow the club. And lastly, membership drives. We've been doing those ever so often. This is a great way to have competition within the club. A lot of times we'll break up the club into two groups and then see who can basically get the most points by putting out flyers or talking with people and who can get the most amount of guests. I know one time we split up guys against girls and it gets really, really competitive. It's pretty fun. A club's actions once a guest attends is equally as important as the marketing that we're putting out there. We can have the greatest marketing that the world has ever seen, bringing guests in every single time we have a meeting. if we have a poorly ran club and a poor meeting, who's going to want to join? If they come in, nobody introduces themselves, we're kind of rude, the club's just a little disoriented, a little discombobulated, it's not flowing smoothly, it's not going to be very attractive to new members. So once a good guest shows up, here's a list of what we should do, and I know that we actually do a lot of these things very well. Number one, greet the guest at the door. And I think Annette was greeted when she came in this morning. Introduce yourself. Let them know who you are. Make them feel welcome. Designate someone to sit with the guest. That way they can explain a little bit about how the meeting works, answer any questions. Just give them a little insight on what to expect. Speak with the guest after the meeting and find out how they liked it. What are they looking to do? What are they trying to accomplish? How can Toastmasters really help them? Also, ask the guest to visit again. Last but not least, make sure they receive a guest package. I'm not sure if we're still doing this or not. But a guest package, basically a folder that will have Toastmaster magazine in it. It'll have a brochure that talks about all the benefits of Toastmasters. And then also an application, maybe even a business card so they know who to contact. We'll go back here. Now that we have talked about the four main topics here, we've talked about why new members are so important. We talked about understanding your target market, how to reach your target market, and what to do once a guest shows up. Now that you've seen that, there's only one thing for all of us to do together, and that is to take action. Get out there, talk up Toastmasters, and let's help grow our club even stronger. I will leave you with a quote by Homer. A guest never forgets the host who had treated them kindly.
Cheers. I have the great privilege of evaluating Sean Edgar's presentation, and I have to say right off the start, Sean, that was incredible. It was not only engaging, it was informative, it was eye-opening as well, and I'll say why. First off, you started off with a great quote by Ralph Smedley and gave us wonderful statistics about the demographics of a typical Toastmasters member, which I had no idea. I've been a member for several years, and I had no idea what the statistics were, so I want to thank you so much for just opening my eyes to the fact that we have roughly half of the gender, male, female, and the different breakdowns. 95.7% of us have college degrees. How great is that? Wonderful. I have to tell you, I feel prouder about being a Toastmasters member as a result of hearing your presentation. So thank you. There are a couple of things to improve upon, and I'm telling you, I have to be nitpicky about it because I have to look really hard. One thing that you could have done in the beginning is just look directly at the audience and given this Ralph Smedley quote. Never looking at your laptop for that quote. And that would have established, boom, eye contact means rapport. From right off the bat, right off the start. The other thing, and again, this is nitpicky, that the officers are actually not called board members in Toastmasters. They're either the executive committee or they're called club officers. And the other thing is, you might have noticed that in the last slide, the Homer quote got cut off. It was, a guest never forgets the. That's the guessing. Yeah, that was great. So just making sure that the quote is complete. Another thing is, instead of scrolling through to get to the 4 main points, just add another slide so that it's just one click and then we know what the 4 main points are. But I want to say, again, great organization, wonderful body language with the backing up and the name tag, and very, very informative and engaging, and really, I enjoy every presentation you give, Sean, and you get better and better, and I want to thank you so much for this one.